Hey YouTube. Well, I don't know if I should call this the Thursday daytime SmackDown or the uprising. What in the hell would you call a day like this? Well, I slept in, right? So when I finally get to the computer, I finally get myself woken up. First thing I see, here's the videos I saw, right? First of all, T.S. Madison reading the haters. Now I enjoyed that one. Next thing I see is James Colwell is pitting these children against each other. Basically, I guess it would be considered a harmless game of people choosing which of these gay YouTube preacher types. Anyway, he picked four of them, right? And people are supposed to choose which one got to go. Now you know that each one of those four are going to be going into those comments and see who voted against them, right? And they will never forgive you, right? Okay, I'm not going to tell you all the names and all that. I'm just saying Colwell had a game, and he had the people choose which of these four personalities, YouTube personalities, got to go. Now, a couple of them are being hammered pretty hard. So, I think there's potential there of feelings being hurt. And I think there's a potential there for some resentments when they start going to see who voted them off the boat. Then I see this conversation, which is probably going to be the majority of this conversation, is this video that Funky Dineva did. Now, as a rule, I don't want to just go picking, responding to other people's videos and all that. But you put it out there, you say you want a conversation about it. So I want to add my opinion to that. Funky Dineva talking about, is it fair for a cisgendered woman, a natural-born woman, to fight with a trans woman? I have a very different kind of opinion about that. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Who else is on here? J.Wilson all up in this man. J.Wilson, how many videos you make about this dude? J.Wilson all up in this dude John Gray's business, because his financial business, because he done bought his wife some fancy car. Right? He wanted him to explain, where did the car come from? How much did it cost? Where did you get the money? And apparently, I don't think John Gray was responded to him, but responded in a general way. That video I haven't seen. Trying to explain to these people that money didn't come from the church. But I don't know why y'all, there's a lesson there. See, when somebody say you talk about money too much, you beg, that you're accused of that. You kind of got through that. They accuse you of begging, or they accuse you of always trying to get money. You're obsessed with money. Even if you're obsessed with other people's money, it still shows, let's say, an unnatural interest in money. Everything is about the money, right? We'll talk about that a little bit. So, let's start. Hope I don't make no enemies today. Okay, T.S. Madison, you up first. T.S. Madison do not like people making videos using her name. She understands the game well enough to know that, they getting clicks and subs off my name. But we make things public. People can discuss it, in my opinion. So T.S. Madison going off on her, I don't know, which one was it? Patreon? T.S. Madison does this show, right? Queen Supreme Court. It's on YouTube, Monday nights. Everybody like it. We're all familiar with the history of the Queen Supreme Court. Also, aside from coming on Monday nights, they go on the road. They do these gatherings, these shows in various cities around the country. T.S. Madison is simply stating, I don't know why she even have to bother, really. I guess she got some negative comments about her trying to take this thing to Patreon and monetizing it. Now, she made some good points. Because I'll be saying, well, how in the hell are they doing the Queen Supreme Court? And they have these people who don't live in Atlanta. So that means they have to pay them to come to Atlanta? They have to make something for doing it, I assume. They have to get there to Atlanta. She has to make money from this thing. I mean, there are expenses, right? And when she goes on the road, that means not only she got to go, but her manager goes. I'm sure she has some support, other support that goes on these trips. Hotel rooms have to be paid for. So what the girl is saying, from what I understand, is simply she needs to monetize that experience of taking the Queen Court on the road. I don't know the details. I think it's like a Patreon works like you pay $5 a month, whatever. Like it's a kind of a, I don't know. You pay $5, right? Not unreasonable. You have to monetize it, or it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that you're going to go out of town and come back with the same amount of money you left with, or less. Now, it definitely should not cost you to put on the show. That's what a show is. You go do it for money. That's what the whole thing is all about, right? So anyway, she let them know in uncertain no uncertain terms how she felt about their nagging and complaining, whining. The answer to the question is, if you don't want to pay $5 a month on Patreon to be a part of this Queen's Supreme Court experience, don't do it. She has supporters who want to support. That's the thing. There are people in the world who want to support you. They want to support the Queen's Supreme Court. They enjoy it so much that they say it's worth $5 to me. Hell, that's not even price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks. So if you don't want to do it, don't do it. People assume that everybody on YouTube is making big money. It ain't right. I know. I figured it out one time. I think for every 1,000 people who watch any video that I've made, it's about $5. 1,000 people. Now I may get lucky one day and get 2,000 or 3,000. So I made $15. All right. So her audience is bigger than that. But let's not assume she's making tons and tons and tons of money to cover all these expenses of trying to put on this show. She's a business person. There's nothing wrong with her figuring out a way to monetize the program. A lot of these people, are not monetizing now because their show doesn't have the audience. There's not enough people involved. But usually they get to a certain point and then they have to monetize it. They have to sell T-shirts or coffee mugs or figure out ways to make money from the thing where they're able to do it full time. So ain't nobody mad at her. Fortunately, Madison, she has this social media platform where you can go and just say whatever you want to say. You don't need the approval of the network. Right. And I love Mother Mary in this one. Now, I haven't seen a lot of Mother Mary's, T.S. Madison's mother, her personality in her videos. I know occasionally she'll appear in her videos, but she was in the background. She was priceless today. Okay, so Madison let you know how she really felt. Next thing I saw, James Colwell. Okay, James Colwell and took this little bit from the Queen's Court. He gives them credit for this is where she got the idea from. I think he did it once last week with celebrities. But this time he does it with local people, local YouTubers, right? And there are several of them. I'm surprised Jive didn't make that list, but there was 4 of them. Let me think. You had to choose, right? The way Madison does it, she does celebrities also, but James Colwell did this for local YouTubers, gay, black, preacher type YouTubers, I guess is the title. I don't know. All of these people have what they call their services. Mostly not serious. Anyway, J.Wilson and Taj Couture, Kelly Love. What's the 4th one? And Sean Bradley. She gives these 4 people. Now, you have to choose which one of these 4 people has to go, right? So this little segment is taken from the Queen's Supreme Court. But you have to choose one, right? And your name appears when you choose who has to go. Which one needs to go? We take a look at that person. They don't fit. I had to choose somebody to throw off the island. This would be the one, right? I did not participate in that because I know these people are going to say, "Oh, that bitch threw me off the island." I thought she was my friend. I thought she liked me. Anyway, so that is going to hurt somebody's feelings. If you go on that thing and you see your name repeatedly more than anyone else appear as the person who needs to go, that's got to hurt. Right? I mean, celebrities, we all do it to celebrities, but they ain't got no contact with us, kind of thing. And most of them are too busy to be looking at our little list. Could care less. But these local people, and then the people get to go out and down the list and say, "Oh, you voted me off the island. No, bitch, don't kill my life." Smiling and grinning at me. I thought you said I had to go. So people, somebody will get their feelings hurt on that. Looks like maybe a couple of them will. All right. Next thing. This is all on Thursday now. That's why this is the Thursday morning SmackDown. What is it in the air? It's supposed to be this. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Fa la 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 la. Okay, but here's where we're at. Next thing. This is what I'm going to talk about primarily. No, let's skip one and go down here to J.Wilson. This thing. Now he's all up in John Gray's finances because he's then bought a car. I didn't do that. I'm just not that much into the church stuff as much as a lot of people on here. I don't give a damn what that man buys his wife. They all, you're not getting the full story because any of these mega preachers, they all drive Rolls Royces, Bentleys, and the congregation generally are happy about it. Generally speaking, they're ecstatic. My bishop drives it's just like a pimp game. My pimp drives a Bentley. What's yours drive? Oh, my pimp drives a Rolls Royce. Then, they all have those things, cars and stuff, right? A lot of times they'll say, well, I know TD Jake says, well, Paula White gave me this car. Really? What's the real story behind that? Paula White just gave you a $250,000 car, a married man. Then we had, what's that guy in Los Angeles? They said, oh, the congregation gave us this Rolls Royce. So when we want to get another Rolls Royce, we traded the old Rolls Royce. I said, all this talk about Rolls Royces. That's what they do. If you could see the way some of these pastors are living. So they caught this man trying to buy his wife a nice car. He's got an ongoing television show. I don't think it's amazing that he's able to buy a car. If these kids can come out with a rap song last 2 minutes and they can buy Ferraris and Maseratis and all this shit, I don't know why that's shocking. But he was determined for John Gray to explain himself. 2 or 3 videos about that, so whatever. Here's the thing I'm going to talk about. Funky Dineva. Now, Funky Dineva, I ain't got no problem with Funky Dineva. Occasionally, he'll come up with a subject I don't agree with. And if I don't agree with it enough, I'll talk about it. He said he wants to talk about it. He invites people to talk about it. I have more to say than what's in the comments. So let's talk about it. He's asking the question, is it fair for a transgender woman to fight a cisgender woman, a natural-born woman? Is it a fair fight? First of all, we're going to have to address this idea of fighting. People hitting each other in the face. When that Cardi B and Remy, what was it? Cardi B is the other girl's name? No, it's not Remy Ma. Yeah, I guess it's Remy Ma. When them girls was at this big event in New York City. The way you guys normalize this girl jumping over, I mean, this is like black tie kind of dinners. People with fabulous, expensive gowns and things. They think it's totally normal somebody to throw a glass across the room and then jump on another person. And then all the black people jumping over there and hitting each other in the face, kicking and stomping. What the fuck? They act like, who won the fight? Girl, there should be no fight. There should be no fight amongst a bunch of adult people. We should be more sophisticated than to be sitting up there taking our shoes off and beating the shit out of each other. I was just talking about this violence thing last week. So I'll talk about it a little more. There are all kind of personalities in the world, right? I'll say this. In my experience, transgender women, I've seen them many times, jump on and beat the shit out of straight men. Depends on how the one person is, how damaged they are, how much they don't really give a fuck. I used to know this woman drug dealer, right? We were kind of close. We had business dealings and all this kind of stuff. She would go down the street and people didn't have her money. She would hit them in the face. I just thought that was the strangest goddamn. This is a woman. She would hit people in the face. Challenge. She wanted to fight all the damn time. Fight. Physically fight. Many of those fights were not fair because everyone knew that if the boy jumped up and hit her back, then they gonna all jump on him because he's hitting a woman. Violence is just not the answer, people. Violence is just not the answer. They used to be in the pen. They used to have these. Two experiences I'm thinking of right now, where these trans girls were so dangerous that wherever they go, they had to be escorted like Hannibal Lecter some damn body because they were so dangerous. You don't know who the hell you're fucking with. Violence is wrong. This one child, she was little too, a little bitty thing. They couldn't put a person in the cell with this person. Because she was so dangerous. She could jump up in the middle of the night and just start beating on the cell person. Just beat him up for no reason. My point is, let's ask this question. Should a violent person, a dangerous person, fight a calm, normal, reasonable person? Some people go through their whole life without ever fighting anybody. Can you believe it? Their whole life. They never had a physical fight with anybody. Is it fair for that person to fight with a person who's been in the streets and who is considered high risk, dangerous individual? Is that fair? None of it's fair. I used to hate that damn Jerry Springer show. Get these poor ass people on stage. And then we all know it was fake after a while. But in the beginning, poor ass people don't know no better. They say 3 words, then they start hitting each other in the face. That's not how adult people... there's no such thing as no fair fight among adults. Period. You say, oh, that's not fair, that's not fair. Okay, what if you're a trans... And we're making too much out of this trans thing. You know the percentage of trans people in the United States? The whole LGBTQ community, only 10% of the population. So you got to figure that they are an extreme minority. So maybe out of the 10%, maybe one of those percentage points are trans people. Many of those people are gentle people. They will never encounter people and want to kick them in the mouth. So let's not make it where now we're asking all these questions about how trans people are to be treated in the society. They're just regular folk. And no, I don't think it's right for a trans woman to jump on a woman. I don't think it's right for a trans woman to jump on a man. I don't think it's right for a man to jump on a trans woman. I don't think it's right for a man to jump on a woman, certainly. Nobody jumping on nobody. We got to get over all this goddamn violence. There's no fair fights. You're an adult. You're a grown person. That's what you do in high school. And you should be starting to mature even in high school. People fighting each other. That's not normal, people. We have normalized violence like it means nothing. You imagine a lady getting all dressed up for the evening. She's in a restaurant. She feels like another woman disrespected her. Is she supposed to jump over the table and beat the woman's ass? And that's a fair fight? Come on, people. I don't think any of it's a fair fight. You don't know the person. You don't know their circumstances. Go to the streets and see how many. Some of the girls have got hammers in their purses. Some has got butcher knife, and some got a gun. It doesn't do with gender. It's got to do with the level of violence, the level of damage. A lot of these trans girls have been through hell for an entire lifetime. When you start fighting 9, 10 years old, and you fight all your life, So now, wait, my phone. You've had all, honey, you can't help but be a hard person. My experience is when I see people on the street fighting and stuff like that, you don't assume nothing. Oh, short people shouldn't fight big people. Oh, the weight should be the same. No, wait. Do you know there are people on this earth that will pick up a brick and crash it through the front of your forehead? Depends on that person. Look how crazy they are, how violent they are. We have to get over this thing with all of this damn violence. That's my opinion. I don't think any of it's normal. I don't think any grown woman. I can't imagine my mother. What, you go out in the yard and you see the videos all over YouTube. I don't even watch that kind of shit. Mothers out in the yard beating each other in the head with sticks and bats and stuff. Anyway, it's ridiculous. Teenagers beating people up on the bus and then they film it and show it in social media to brag about it, to humiliate the person over and over and over and over and over again. None of it's right. None of it's right, honey. And adults shouldn't be talking about hitting people. Well, don't you have a job or something, somewhere to go? Come here. Get him on the dinny. Look at his face. Hi, baby. What you doing? Say hello. Say hi to people. You ain't talked to him in a while. What is he going to do? Is it a fair fight for my baby to fight a Rottweiler? Depends on if the Rottweiler's a sissy. People, y'all got to stop this. What is the hell is this? What am I going to call this Thursday? This is Thursday morning massacre. Thursday morning massacre. Y'all killing me with this stuff. All right. What are your opinions?